I'm FedoraG4mer and welcome to my channel. This is the first video in my Is It Fun series. You can talk about every aspect of a game, attach arbitrary and completely subjective scores to games, but in the end, the only thing that really matters is it fun? Which of course is also subjective, so this is entirely my opinion. Speaking of fun, in this series there will be a trivia game with every video. Today's question is, what was the first game to use the Konami code? Contra, Gradius, or Castlevania Bloodlines? The answer will be at the end of the video, and if you Google it, you're cheating. And now on to the game itself. As you can probably see by the giant logo, today's game is Delve Deeper, an indie game made by Lunar Giant games. As far as I can tell, this is the only proper game release they've had. The only other game I could find by them is a little flash game on their website. So what is Delve Deeper? Well, it is only real way to describe it is a turn-based strategy game, but quite unique in its own right. But first off, let's check out what we got in the menus here. In options, you can pretty much tweak the amount of everything in the game, relics that you can pick up, minerals. Gameplay options, you can tweak out the monster density, AI difficulty, game speed, spawn cap. Audio is very basic. Very basic. And video is even more basic. This is pretty bare bones. Full screen or not full screen. That's pretty bad actually. But it's still playable. So, and here you can check out the relics you have found in the game, which are all pretty absurd items. I've only played a little bit of this game so far, only one match actually. There is a level editor, which is actually where the majority of content comes from in this game. Controls, it's pretty simple keyboard and mouse controls, so let's go ahead and start a game. Now let's see. A simple little map is what we'll do. There we go. And you start out by choosing a color. And then there's 3 different classes: miner, fighter, and scout. Miners are the best at the mining, fighters are the strongest, scouts are the fastest. Well, move the furthest as in fastest. I'll stick with the default here. Okay, and then you choose where to spawn, which is one of any of the mine shafts on the map. Well, there's only 2, so we'll just stick with this one. Now, the premise of this game is to gather the most, minerals with the most value of items. Minerals and relics you bring to the top and it adds to your score. You have a certain amount of turns. The team that has the most value collected wins the match. It's a pretty simple premise, really. But let's go ahead and start here. How you start every turn is you place a tile. You see how there's tunnels, but with these blank spots in them, you place tiles in these to connect the tunnels together and get around. And there's a surprising amount of strategy involved in this, as you can place tiles on any depth you've made it to. Dirt by default since you haven't moved yet, and you can place the tiles to, say, cut off the enemy team from getting to areas, or to open up monsters into your enemy's tunnels to try to wipe them out. It gets pretty tricky actually. Now you can select which type depending on how deep you're trying to go, and then you select the different tiles. But there really isn't much point in this, as the auto function just shows you what tiles you have available that will fit in that spot. So going through and picking yourself actually seems quite pointless. I'm not even sure why it's here besides to waste time. So we will do the simple move of just connecting right here. You can also turn it to fit into places, but auto automatically figures out what ones will fit being turned for you as well. So yeah, the manual method seems very pointless, really. You first place your tile, and then you move your dwarfs around. Anywhere you see these signs is an area they can mine, and how many times it can be mined. So he is a miner, and he makes it so he can hold the most without having to go back and drop off first. This guy is a fighter, so he has the highest attack, but he can also mine, but he just carries less. And we'll just start by mining the very top things here. Another miner, put him over there. This is my scout, which he can move the furthest, so I will send him down to scout and pick up a relic, as it were. But he doesn't pick it up until end turn. That's when everything actually takes effect. And there they go, mining all this stuff. Now the AI enemy, as it is, plays out his turn. Which really isn't that exciting to watch. When he's not attacking you, that is. Oh, and I got monsters attacking. Well, I probably shouldn't have sent my scout down there alone. And at the end of both turns is when combat takes effect. Oh, well, they weren't very strong. He took care of them quite well himself. Combat is automatic. You watch, if you pile dwarves into the same location, then they will team up and fight together. Honestly, it could have been more. I think it could have been more. Some kind of battle system would have been much more interesting. But anyway, it's time for the next turn, and now we will just go the easy method of auto. And you see what that involves. It will show you what you have that can fit there. I don't think I want to go deeper right yet. And as you can also see that they all finished. There's only 2 mining points per, and the deeper mining points obviously have more valuable items to mine from them, so you gain more score out of it. I really can't do much in the little bit area. Oh, yeah. I forgot, when you open a chest, you actually got to pick up what was in it. Which he did. Right here shows how far they can move. And we will just go deeper, I suppose. Get ready to go deeper. Well, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, oh well. And end turn. Wow, he's going down to the nasty stuff already. One guy versus cube. Not sure how that's going to go for him. Yeah, not too bad. Must have been a fighter. And that's basically the premise of the game. I mean, going down, you'll find some crazy stuff deep in the game. There's dragons. Those aren't fun to deal with. But also, you will find spots where you can trade stuff in instead of having to go clear back to the top, but for a price. You have to come to these beholder shops to sell relics for score rather than, you know, holding on to them for nothing. And then you can deposit into the bank to add to your score instead of having to go clear the top to do that, but it takes a fee to do so. But as you can see, this gets kind of deep, so it would take several turns to run clear to the top, so you don't really have a choice. I have no idea what that is. I'm assuming it probably heals you if you stand there on a turn. And there is some nasty monsters down here. And bigger chests with better relics. Anyway, let's go ahead and place our tile for this turn. I will place it here. More interesting stuff down there. first. Right here it says you will get into a fight moving into that tile, that hexagon, as it were. Which we'll go ahead and get into a fight. It gives you nice warning so you don't accidentally move somewhere that you don't want to be in yet. Maybe we'll just pile them all on here, because there are quite a few enemies here that will probably move to attack me as well. And we'll go ahead and enter now. Okay, so that's the basic premise of the game. So, what do I like and dislike about this game? Well, it is a very interesting concept. It's definitely unique. I've never seen anything quite like it before, that is for sure. But I always have this feeling that it could be more. There's no real campaign or story, it's just pick a map, how many AI opponents, play. No progression, no story. As I said, the battle always leaves me thinking there could be much more. It would be better if it was some kind of active battle system instead of just sitting here watching it. Which really isn't fun when you're watching a video of it either, I'm sure. So, there could be so much more to it. There could be a lot more, it needs more depth. Haha, delve deeper in. But, it's fun for what it is. I can't really sit here and play more than 1 or 2 matches before I'm just kind of bored with it because there's no real progression behind it. So, they could have done so much more. Lunar Giant could have made this into much more. What it could have made it much more fun is multiplayer. It only has hot seat multiplayer, which means you have to all be in the same place and take over the mouse and keyboard to play your turn. If full-out internet multiplayer could have made this game much, much more interesting. I mean, I suppose you could use something like TeamViewer to rig internet multiplayer. It would be very spotty, that's for sure, but I'm sure it would be possible, but not ideal by any means. So, really, it's fun for what it is. I say it's fun for what it is. And it's an indie game. It's not very expensive on Steam. The link to it will be in the bottom description. But that's pretty much all there is to it. There really isn't a whole lot more to show you. So I think we'll end that video now. This was Delve Deeper by Lunar Giant Games. And the answer to today's trivia question was Gradius. All 3 games on that list did in fact have the Konami code, and Konami code is probably most well known for in Contra, but Gradius was the actual first game to ever have the Konami code. Anyway, thank you for watching my first video. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.